Hey everybody, Joe from Complete Carnivore here. We got some new knives we're going to talk about today. Before we get into the new ones, let me kind of show you kind of my everyday daily use knives and kind of what I use them for. Right here we have the Dalstrong Gladiator 10 and a quarter inch, I believe, Shogun X series chef's knife. It's a big chef's knife, but I like it for almost everything I want to do with a chef's knife. It's great for slicing meat. You can cut vegetables, you can, it's good for even big things like watermelons, heads of cabbage, stuff like that. I love that chef's knife. Here's the Dalstrong bullnose butcher knife. Again, about 10-inch blade. I like that for all kinds of slicing meat, that type of thing. I have a Cutco chef's knife. I like this one better for rocking than this one. I think just the blade shape. This has a bit of a straighter edge. This is a little more curved. Definitely need to sharpen that one though. There's the Cutco Santoku. Again, it's pretty good for kind of chopping, push cuts. It's good. Here's a little, just a serrated, shorter blade knife. Good for cutting vegetables. Again, that's another Cutco one. For slicing, I have the Dexter slicing knife. I use this for briskets. I got a couple new knives I use more for briskets nowadays than this. And I have some other smaller, like boning knives, paring knives. I'm not going to show you all those. I use that one quite a bit. And then for bread, it's just this, I don't even know what brand it is, cheap knife off Amazon. Read a few articles a while back about how serrated knives, it's kind of hard to sharpen. It's hard to sharpen well. So if you want a good bread knife, just kind of get one that's cheap and toss it when it's done. So those are the daily use knives. Those are the ones I usually reach for. I have more. Like I said, some of them are more specialty items I just use for primarily brisket or something like that. But these ones, I am excited about these. Most of these knives that I showed you, I mean the bread knife. Let me show you that in a minute after I get this open. Like this knife, I think it was like 20-25 bucks. This slicing knife's about 45. I think this is about a $90 or so. This one's maybe 125. Cutcos usually run about 100 bucks a piece, 120 bucks, 130 bucks, somewhere in there. So they're not like the cheap $20 knife you get at the Walmart or Target, wherever. So they're good knives. These ones are kind of a step above that. I've never had a knife this expensive. These ones are from a place called West KnifeWorks. All right, they're both in there. I got two knives. They sent these to me to try out, to test out. Extremely sharp, West KnifeWorks. And I'll put links to them below. But let's look at these two knives. I am excited to see this. I haven't seen these yet. You can see it was all boxed up. These just came today. Some cool wrapping. We got two of them in there. Mountain Man Toy Shop, they sell like hunting knives. Ooh, they even include a nice band-aid. That's nice. But yeah, they sell some like hunting knives and that type of thing. They have chef's knives. Here's like a whole line of their stuff. They got some big giant chef's knives. They got little paring knives. This one, the petty knife, is one that has always interested me. It's like a 6-inch blade, kind of shaped like a chef's knife, except smaller. So it would be great for kind of like everyday cutting apples and getting the kids' lunch ready and stuff like that. So they have a lot of different knives, but I'm going to show you these. I'm excited to see this. Again, you're seeing this for the first time, as I am. This is the West KnifeWorks Super Bread Knife. And this one is the deli knife. So, what is West KnifeWorks? They are a knife company based out of Jackson Hole, Utah. They have or Jackson Hole, Wyoming, excuse me. They have a couple different retail places, like in Wyoming. They have like one in Idaho, I think Park City. I think they just opened one in Denver. But they're known for having some great knives. Even just feeling this is a good feeling knife. It's not extremely heavy for how thick the blade is here. I mean, you see, obviously a full tang. Nice thick blade back here, but the knife doesn't feel like heavy and unwieldy. Again, this one here, it's heavy duty. I mean, this blade barely bends. So it's a heavy duty knife, but it doesn't feel like heavy. I mean, the handles feel great. These are ironwood handles. Ironwood's a wood from kind of the Sonoran Desert area down in Arizona. It's a super dense wood. The wood actually sinks in water. It's one of the few woods that does. But they chose this because I mean, it's durable. This knife will last multiple lifetimes if you want it to. Especially the handle. The handle is going to last longer than the blade because obviously as you sharpen it, blade gets smaller. Kind of first impressions. Some things I like about this compared to like a normal bread knife. Again, this is called their super bread. It's almost more designed like a chef's knife than a bread knife. You got big serrations here. It's little fine ones. Supposedly it makes it easier to sharpen. It'll be interesting to test it functionality wise against this. In a few days, I'll put out another video where I do some side-by-side tests between these and my other knives. Right now, this is just kind of unboxing and first impressions. But yeah, I'll do some different tests and see what I think, how they perform. Again, the knife looks nice. It's got a nice finish on it, kind of a brushed steel finish. Doesn't have like the Damascus finish or anything like that. The steel is, what's it called? It's called CPM S35VN. The CPM stands for Crucible Particle Metallurgy. That's a mouthful to say. Crucible Particle Metallurgy. So rather than just taking a chunk of metal, melting it down, forging the blades, they put it through this, I don't even know, some machine that it kind of sprays the molten metal, and it ends up turning into droplets in a chamber, and those harden and they compress them all and makes a much denser steel, so you can have a stronger blade, but it's still light. That's kind of what I'm noticing, is how light these knives are. You're not going to get tired working at them all day. Some people like a heavier knife. Like I said, this one feels light, but it makes it really hard steel, makes it a really durable steel. These are made with 1.4% carbon. Most other knives, good knives even, like Schoen and Wusthof, they're kind of in the 1% range carbon, so this is 1.4, so it's a little bit higher. It's got 14% chromium, 3% vanadium, 2% molybdenum, and other stuff in there obviously, but each of those has a different function. Some are for finish, some are for stain resistance, some are for durability and strength. So like I said, they come in the ironwood handle. They also have the G Fusion handle, which is kind of a fiberglass epoxy resin. Super durable, tough handles. They have some that are a bunch of different colors. They like layer the sheets of the G10 material. These knives here, this one is $459. That's kind of spendy on a knife. The G10 version is a bit cheaper, $409, and this deli knife here, $309. I can see these being great. Like I said, it's a deli knife. Make a sandwich. This is kind of what you want. You can slice your tomatoes, you can chop up some lettuce, cut your vegetables. It'd be good for cutting through a sandwich, like a big Reuben. For the big game that's coming up weekend, I'm doing cheesesteaks, and I think this will be the knife I grab if I want to cut a cheesesteak in half. Probably not going to use this for trimming a brisket. Probably not going to use this for some loaves of bread you can slice with it, like some smaller loaves. You can do that, but this one would be more of a bread slicer. I've seen a lot of people that they use this as kind of an everyday chef's knife. I'm sure this would cut through a tomato just great. I don't have any tomatoes, so I can't really test it out right now. But like I said, in a couple days I'll do some more like hands-on cutting tests and show you how these compare to these. But yeah, New West KnifeWorks. Again, there'll be a link in the description there. They're not cheap knives. These are knives that are going to last a lifetime if you take care of them. They're going to last a long time. I need to do some research on how to properly sharpen these, since it has these big swooshy serrations in it. See if it's the same as sharpening a regular knife, or if I need to go more of a serrated knife sharpening route. It is only beveled on one side, you can see. It doesn't have the bevel on both sides like most knives. They're beveled on both sides to sharpen the blade, but these are only beveled on one. So usually when you sharpen a serrated blade, you have a little rod and you kind of stick it down through each serration a bunch. So yeah, I'm interested to see how New West recommends sharpening these. I am gonna cut one bagel today just because brand new knives, I gotta see how they cut. Seems like a bagel would be a good thing to cut with this. That slices right through. Definitely much easier to cut a bagel than with these two knives, which they do a fine job. All right, I gotta do it. Definitely sharp knives. These are sharp. I mean, on these, like if I pull through, you gotta make a much longer stroke, and it's not quite the same type of cut. But these, just a few inches of the blade, pull it right through, and it goes right through the bagel. Again, bagels aren't easy to cut, or are easy to cut. It's not like I'm putting these through a total test, but that kind of gives you some idea. I just wanted to cut one thing today. Comes with some nice leather sheaths so you can protect your knives. I usually keep mine hanging up here on a magnetic block. I don't know if I'll keep these ones on the magnetic block. I might put these away and keep these special for a while. So I don't know what else to say, but these feel great. The handles feel good. You do have to occasionally maybe put some mineral oil or linseed oil or something on these. You don't want to use like super harsh soaps or detergents to clean these. You don't have to baby them, but you do have to take care of your knives. I like this little design rivet in there. Again, it's a wide tang here, but then they taper the blade. So the further you get down to the tip, the thinner the back is here. We're on like this knife. I'm not sure how well it comes across in video, but the blade's pretty much the same thickness, like the whole way down. Let me see. Yeah, kind of the same on the Dalstrong knife here. Again, these other knives are great, and you won't go wrong with any of them. But these are, I don't know, it's like driving a sports car compared to driving just a minivan to get around town. They feel awesome. Again, it's light. It's not as heavy as these knives. When I do a side-by-side comparison, I'll even weigh some of these and kind of see. Like this one's much heavier than this one. Obviously, it's a bigger blade, longer blade, so it's going to be heavier. But I'll do some different weight comparisons. I don't know if it could be just the balance of it, but it's balanced. It feels good in the hand when you're doing a pinch grip. It doesn't have like the big swoopy bolster like this one. This one sometimes is if I'm doing a lot of cutting, I get a little spot right here where it kind of blisters, just the way it hits. This one's a little bit smoother. I don't quite get that the same on this knife, but this one doesn't have a big swoopy bolster. Another thing, oh, I forgot to mention this. Like you're cutting a loaf of bread with these, when you get down to the bottom of the loaf, and usually like a sourdough loaf or something, the bottom's a lot stiffer, a lot tougher to get through. Your knuckles hit the board. This one, since it's more like a chef's knife, you can see the blade on the board there, and my knuckles are still up, so you can slice down and get right to the bottom of that loaf. Much easier than with a standard bread knife. I mean, a standard bread knife, you're gonna have to angle it, and you only got a little part of the blade cutting. This, you can have the whole blade running along that bottom crust of the loaf. So, New West KnifeWorks. If you have any questions, leave them below. I want to learn more about these knives. I want to learn more about the metal. I want to learn more about the company. They're all made in the U.S. The steel is from a place in Albany that makes a bunch of different fancy steel for tools and knives and stuff, and they're all forged and designed and sharpened and made in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So American company, and not cheap. Again, this is $459 right here. This is $309. So I'm excited to use these. I'm excited to get these kind of in the rotation and figure out what they're good for. Again, they do sell normal chef's knives. They have a few different blade designs. They have some, like a Western chef's knife that's really thick and then has a big swoopy tail tip on it. They have Santoku knives. They have boning knives. They have steak knives. I would love to get a set of their steak knives at some point, but right now these are the two I have, and I'm looking forward to using them. If you have any questions, leave it below. If you want to like or comment, I would appreciate that. It all helps. So there'll be more content coming on these knives over the next few weeks. Again, I'll do a comparison showing how good they cut. I'll cut a bunch of different stuff with it and kind of see what these two knives in particular are good for the super bread and the deli knife from New West KnifeWorks. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it.